You're listening to the House of Cards on the Big Patriot Radio Network, brought to you by F1 Mechanical. All music has been paid for under applicable licenses and is the property of Big Patriot Radio. All subjects and topics may not be the opinions of or made by the show's host and or producer. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Of Cards, live on Facebook and YouTube. It's going down now. Locked and loaded with the truth.
And good evening, everybody. Once again, it is Thursday night. That's Beaufort County's House of Cards night. Right? Good to have you here. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. It is Thursday, the 26th of December. This is our last show. Last show in 2020. Did I say 2026 a minute ago? I meant 2024. It's our last show in 2024. Coming up on next week will be our first one in 2025. I don't need to speed things along as fast as it already is. Don't forget, we're coming to you live on Facebook, YouTube, and simulcasting live on BigPatriotRadio.com. We've got podcasts here. You know what, you hear about it every week, 5 nights a week. Monday night, be sure to tune in at 7 and 9 o'clock p.m. for David and Jordan Cox, New American Movement. Again, that's at 7 and 9 o'clock p.m. on Big Patriot Radio. On Wednesday is Corey Allen and the Overton Report at 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock right here on Big Patriot Radio. Thursday nights, it's yours truly. Saturdays is Ann Ubellis, the Radio Chickadee and Southern Sense Radio. That is on at 7 o'clock on Saturdays, and Sunday nights, Andrew Southwick and Culture Crossroads. Again, that's at 7 o'clock on Sundays right here on BigPatriotRadio.com. The number one song this past week on Big Patriot Radio was relatively new one, Roadrunner by Lainey Wilson. Number one listening city last week clearly was Hilton Head Island, and then Summerville, South Carolina, coming in close to them, along with Lexington, our folks up there near the Capitol, and also some folks out of Greenville. So we want to thank the sponsors. You see them up there in the upper left or right-hand corner of at least my screen. Hopefully it's the same on yours. The folks at F1 Mechanical, they're the sponsors of tonight's show and Big Patriot Radio. Let's take a 30-second time out for station identification and a message from the folks at F1 Mechanical. Do you know if your home's heating and cooling system is working properly, safely, and efficiently? Call F1 Mechanical in Hilton Head, Bluffton, and Beaufort, South Carolina, as well as Greater Charlotte, North Carolina, for immediate service or inspection. Don't wait weeks. Call 843-284-9156. 284-9156 today. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's F1 Mechanical, 843-284-9156. Call now, and all customers with gas furnaces will get a free combustion air test.
Locked and loaded.
Let's go.
Big Patriot Radio. Blues, news, country pop, and classic rock.
That's right. If you're in anywhere here in the Low Country of South Carolina or up in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, it's cold. Some places colder than others. The proverbial well digger's rear end. It is cold. Give those folks at F1 Mechanical a call. There's their number again, 843-284-9156. I was cold all day today. Hey, don't forget, folks, if you're on Facebook, send some stars. We have a goal. We're trying to break a record tonight. And only those folks on Facebook can do the stars thing. We're trying to get to 500 stars tonight. And I know we can do it. I know you folks can do it. So send those stars. We greatly appreciate it. Those folks who have joined in the Patreon program and joined the family that way, we appreciate you. Also appreciate the folks who just out of the kindness decided, to help keep independent journalism alive by sending something along to the Venmo number on your screen. If you're on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button and like the channel. That helps with the algorithm and keeps the channel going out to more people. In order to grow, we have to get it out to more people, and conservative talk, unlike mainstream media, gets throttled a lot. So the more people that we have saying, hey, this is good, or just, subscribing to it, the more it gets out there in all that kind of stuff. So please join us. Last week, we had County Councilman Tom Reitz of Hilton Head Island on with us, and we talked to him about the lack of transparency of local government, the lack of public trust in local government, the increasing amount of secretive meetings apparently being held by local government officials, and the breakage of something known as stare decisis by some of those same local representative officials in government. Quite a story. And we have heard an immense amount of commentary from not only here locally, but all across the state, and some in other parts of the state. Honestly, ever since that show, it's been remarkable. So please, tonight, whether you are on Facebook or on YouTube, please comment in that chat area. We'll post it below. Whether you have good comments, bad comments, or otherwise. Again, that also helps give credibility to the show and to the channel, and keeps it going up in the, I don't want to say the ratings, but in the where for it to be placed on people's screens, be it their phone, their tablet, their computer, whatever. So that's right. Even if you have something terrible to say, Covert, you should shave. That gets me better ratings. So, whatever you want to say, just let us know. It makes our show easier for others to find. Plus, we like to hear from you. All right. So anyway, earlier in the week, David Lauderdale wrote an opinion piece that went into the Island Packet and Beaufort Gazette, also went into the state newspapers, eventually reaching national sources like Smart News and Newsbreak and sources like that. His article was entitled, quote, "We expect bad government from Beaufort County, not Hilton Head until now," end quote. This is a direct, upfront slap in the middle of the face of all publicly elected officials, and I agree 110% with Lauderdale's comments. His comments were timely. Those who need to have heard this or read this, I'm sure they did. And those who, aren't on the same side of those that are doing non-transparent things, non-honest kind of business in government, etc., you will be getting the last laugh because you're doing the right thing. I want to talk a little bit about that. On December 6th of this year, a secret meeting, if you will, was held with County Council Chairman Joe Passament, Vice Chair Larry McKellen, County Administrator Michael Moore, Mayor of Hilton Head Alan Perry, and Councilman of Hilton Head Alex Brown. We don't believe anybody else from the town was there. I question whether or not Town Manager Mark Orlando was there. But nothing that I have says that he was. So, and this, what we're talking about, this is directly from David Lauderdale's article, which he penned it extremely well. It's chronologically interesting, on point, and we're going to add some of our own take to it. But anyway, this meeting was not openly announced. when government officials have meetings, they have to be posted. There has to be advertised. It's all part of ethics, the Open Ethics Act, and things of that nature that they're held to here in South Carolina, your state, wherever you're listening from. You folks there in Nebraska that are tuning in, or Texas right now, you have your own FOIA, Open Meetings Act, whatever you call it in your state. You have your own. Each state is different. This is what is required in South Carolina, that when you have these meetings, the public has to be notified, rather. Whether they show up or not, that's neither here nor there. Some meetings, you have there is a formula, so to speak, criteria that has to be met for it to be a public meeting, such as a quorum of either a committee of the whole or a committee of a group of elected official. So this meeting was not openly announced. And Councilman Reitz confronted either Michael Moore or Joe Passman or both. I don't remember which. He was given the proverbial, not literal, but the proverbial middle finger from whomever he approached about it, because he was not invited, and this was not an open meeting. This meeting was to discuss money, public money, or actually a lack thereof. In this case, privately talking about public money, that's taxpayer money, that's my money, that's your money, and your money, and your money, and so on, is an absolute violation, in my opinion, as I read it, of the Open Meetings Act, and denigrates what little, if any, public trust is remaining. And here in Beaufort County, it's slim to none. Some of the municipalities, I think, their public trust is better, or a little thicker than it is in the county. The counties is very thin. I mean, it's like wafer thin. As Lauderdale put it, by minimizing those in attendance, Passman and Perry were legally able to keep the no quorums present. Thus, the perception that public notification was not necessary. How many times do we see, and I'm going to go back and forth from the article to commentary and so forth, but how many times do we see, or can we relate the opinion of doing what is legal may not be right? You follow what I'm saying there? So, like, they're able to keep the no quorums. We didn't have a quorum, so we don't have to advertise. But you're talking about public money. That's not right. That's just not right. You're talking about our tax dollars. That's just not right. You are circumventing the rules, the law, the Open Meetings Act, to benefit. Well, we don't know why you're doing that. What are you benefiting from that? And we'll go more to that here in a minute. Another example of FU to the public, because the rules allow it, is clearly what Passman, Moore, Perry, whoever designed this and orchestrated this meeting, that's what they did. Beaufort County taxpayers overwhelmingly, and all of you know this, overwhelmingly, we said hell no to a ballot referendum to raise just about $1 billion. That's taxpayer dollars for a plethora of infrastructure pet projects. Again, because the public trust has been eroded, completely eroded by the likes of Passman, McKellen, Howard, and possibly now Perry. Eroded like you saw the pictures from Western North Carolina, where like the Swananoa River created a new path. It eroded the land and it created a whole new riverbed. That's what Passman and McKellen and Howard and the likes of that, they have eroded that public trust to creating a new path. I bring up Perry's name because up until this meeting, during the mayor's tenure, Hilton Head has largely been left out of the lack of trust conversation, at least here on this channel and by and large throughout the papers and the media. Hilton Head has just not been a part of the conversation. Again, by this outlet and by others, a common note shared by Lauderdale, I will say. A quote from this article, okay, that Lauderdale wrote says this, quote, Mayor Perry, if you lie down with the same mangy dog that has become Beaufort County governance, you will rise with the same old mangy fleas. Ha ha. End quote. I couldn't have said that any better myself, David. You see, Beaufort County has been told by the state that it has until March 31st to come up with some kind of plan to finance the $190 million portion of the proposed $488 million US 278 bridge project. Think about that. You have until, this came out like November 7th or something, shortly thereafter the election, okay, when the plan was defeated by the voters. So let's just call it November 7th, 8th, somewhere in that area. The state says you've got until March to come up with a plan for this $190 million shortfall to finance the $488 million project. So South Carolina Senator Tom Davis has said recently, quote, that possibly coming up with only $90 million might be enough, end quote, to get the ball across the goal line. Now, this outlet has made the comment several times now, and I haven't been forceful with it until now, and because now it is becoming, the ball is falling, or the chips are falling as I figured they would. How do you go from needing a $190 million plan to, well, if you come up with $90 million, you might be okay, kind of sort of thing? I mean, if that's $100 million delta, okay? $100 million, you need $190 million. Well, if you get $90 million, you should be okay. If that's considered not that much, if that $100 million delta, or not that detrimental, then why are we arguing about any of this? If it's okay for 90 million, then why were they told 190 million? Why are they meeting about 190 million if they only need a 90 million? I mean, this is big dollars. Now, I know to those folks, or some of those folks, 100 million here and 100 million there, it's not a big thing. It's a fugazi. Well, it's not a fugazi to those of us that pay taxes. And those of us who live on a budget, live under budgetary constraints, those of us who don't just frivolously spend and not worry about how it's going to get paid for, those of us in the real world, $100 million is $100 million. Don't tell us you need 190 if you only need 90. Just like don't tell us you want 1.5 or 1.625 billion and then come back and say, well, it's only 950 million. And then when we did the math, it was really only 900 million because 50 million of it, they didn't advertise to the extent of what it was for. It was just thrown in there. That's not counting the 500 million on a quick bond to help speed this thing up. It just doesn't make sense. As Lauderdale said it, where does this money come from? Just where does it come from? The public, again, in overwhelming, in-your-face rebuttal, said not from us on election day. It's not coming from us. No, it was a large no. All along now, and if you keep going back and looking at what these electeds have said, the main theme has been from the folks at SCDOT, the Department of Transportation. They've said, Beaufort County, if you can't, or you don't, or you won't raise what is needed to replace these bridges, vis-a-vis known as the 278 bridge plan, then SCDOT will do what it is bound by, the rules to do, and that is to either replace or repair the one section bridge affected by and deemed, needing immediate attention and nothing less. That's their prerogative. That section, this bridge, by the way, that they're talking about, it's the portion of the 278 bridge that is eastbound over Mackey's Creek. That bridge was built in 1956. You have a bridge over Mackey's Creek and a bridge over what I refer to as the Intercoastal Waterway. It's not all of them. The plan, the 488, whatever it is, $1 million, yes, is to replace it all. The state is only concerned about one section, one bridge, the eastbound 278 over Mackey's Creek, built in 1956. As Lauderdale correctly put it, if that job in and of itself were to require all traffic to and from Hilton Head to be funneled into a single lane each way, that would be a categorically confounded disaster. That would be monumental if that were to happen. Just because of forget about the tourists. Forget about that. I mean, we have more tourists going from Bluffton over to Hilton Head in the summertime than we do going from South Carolina into Georgia on 95. That's right. That's a fact. I've seen the numbers myself. It's going, if we went down to one lane, that'd be catastrophic. So anyway, I call your attention back to just before Election Day when this topic was making its round. Okay. Before Election Day, and this was being talked about, county council members, specifically, well, all the county council, I just know, had to have the gut feeling that this was not going to pass. It'd be interesting to know if any of them actually thought it was, because that'll tell you just who is and who isn't out of touch with the community, with the public, and with reality. There was no way this was going to pass. Well, county council members Tab Tabernick, Mark Lawson, and even Logan Cunningham made statements, and they said that if, pretty much, quote, if the voters do not approve this sales tax, then we're going to be forced to raise your property taxes. Now, I'm assuming everybody remembers that. If you don't, and I just hit you with news you didn't know about, well, welcome to the show. One of the most egregious and piss-poor comments ever made by any council members, and specifically these three: if you don't vote for this, we're gonna have to vote. We're gonna have to raise your property taxes. I mean, I almost cannot recall a more tone-deaf comment to be made. Not only is that characteristically illegal to make a comment as an elected official in favor of or against a referendum question by a council member. That's state law. It's almost some kind of a weird extortion type of Gestapo tactics. Do this or I will do that to you. Total bullshit. Now, forget about some conversations have been had. Well, that actually wouldn't be that expensive if you looked at. I know. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the way this went down. You don't do that. There are ways to handle your business, and then there are ways you don't, and that's not how you do it. You don't threaten the citizen, the taxpayer, the people who are paying your salary, and everybody else in the bureaucratic system by threats. You just do not do that. That is not conducive to any kind of longevity in office. What else is total BS is the comment Passament made to a reporter named Chloe, and I believe that's how you say that, Chloe Appleby. According to Lauderdale, that this secret meeting on December 6th was and I quote, a fact-finding group of individuals that needed to get some information, end quote. Total horseshit. If there's ever been a line of horse manure, that was it right there. I know, and Reitz knows it. He had the actual balls to call him out on it. This wasn't fact-finding. This was money-finding. Both of which, by the way, should have been held with the proper public notification and other council members' input. A large portion of this has to do with the area that Tom Reitz represents. I'm just using him as an example. And he wasn't invited. And when he approached them about it, there was a great big stiffy. Lauderdale said it in his article, and I have said this hundreds and hundreds of times now. Just be honest with us, the public I'm talking about. And that doesn't matter what office you hold. The public, if you've got bad news, you've got bad, it's just shitty news, they can handle it. They can handle it. What they can't handle is sneakiness and underhandedness and deceitfulness and crookedness and corruption. When you don't tell them the truth, they can't handle that. I would much rather hear it's really bad news from a government official, but know that he or she was straight up and gave it to us like it is, and we can keep on getting on. Lie to us, continue being secretive. People resent that because it's insulting. And that's a great way to define this now. Passament and McKellen, the public, simply put, they resent you. There's no other way to say it. I mean, and if you don't know that, guys, you really, really have been asleep. The public resents you, period. Is it that there are so many false statements or cover-ups or secretive meetings or agendas that you just can't tell the public the truth anymore? I mean, the old story. You tell one lie, you got to tell another lie, and another lie, and another lie, and another lie, and all of a sudden you got this great big-ass snowball, and you can't get away from it. Is that where we are? I am most surprised at McKellen, to be totally honest with you. Nice guy. Great guy to talk to. The former DEA guy, something or another back in his day. And more recently, he was the county's chief magistrate judge. He was the head cheese, the head honcho, the big wheel. I mean, wow, being part of the Passament concealment train. I mean, what are you getting out of this? Why would you want to be a part of this? Seriously. It doesn't make any sense. I know, and we know, and it's no secret, McKellen wanted to be chairman in a bad, bad way. When I was orchestrating the removal of Stu Rodman, Larry McKellen was right there in the conversation of this. I know he wanted to be chairman right then, but Joe Passament, it just worked out that way. I know Larry has wanted to be chairman, and I know he still wants to be chairman. But he's never been able to eclipse old Passament. And now we know, I'm going to let you in a little bit of info here. Now we know Alice Howard and Tab Tabernick are making this huge run at chairwoman and vice chairwoman, respectively. Boy, that's going to upset the apple cart. What do you think? Howard has been a lapdog for Passament for years, ever since he's been chairman. Previously to that, she was a lapdog to Paul Somerville, former chairman. And so now, what is she going to stab him in the back and run against him? I mean, Joe, if you're watching, you didn't know that. You didn't know Alice was going to run against you. She's been calling the other dogs, lining up those votes. I mean, where the hell have you been? She's been your lapdog, and now she wants to run against you. She wants that job. Damn, lady. That's stone cold right there. I mean, that is stone cold. Yeah, I mean, we know that's what's going on in the background. And I tell you how I know it. I don't mind sharing this, because next week they're going to vote on this. They're going to vote on the next 2-year chairmanship and vice chairman. I've had 4. That's right, 4 county council members tell me that Howard has been working the phones, trying to garner votes, going out to lunch or coffee or whatever. I mean, let's take a look where we are right now. Okay, let's take a look at this is how the ball game is played. Passament has himself, McKellen, Glover, Gerald Dawson, and Mark Lawson in his stable. Bona fide, guaranteed. That's 5 votes. He's got those. We believe, this outlet believes, that according to recent comments made in county council meetings and some off-collar comments that we've heard and picked up on, that Logan Cunningham will be the 6th vote Passament needs. All he needs is 6. That's all he needs. That means Reitz, Brown, Bartholomew, whom we don't know. Seriously, I don't know who they were going to vote for. Their votes aren't even needed to be recorded for Howard and Tabernick for Passament to win another 2-year term. Again, Passament, McKellen, Dawson, Lawson, and Glover, that's the 5. The key is Logan Cunningham. If Logan Cunningham goes by what I'm being told and what I'm seeing, and I just report what I see, you've got old Joey and Larry for 2 more years. I made the comment last week, and we're getting ready to bring on a guest here in a minute. He's back there in the green room right now, shining some new Christmas lights and sipping on some special eggnog and brownies we have back there tonight. I made the comment last week and several weeks before that, and I'll say it again. To those county council members, and there are some watching, it's funny how they just poof, pop up. I've said this again. Those of you who vote for Joe Passament and Larry McKellen next week, I'm going to go to great lengths to help those groups that have been talking to me that are forming now to remove you from office. Rest assured, you will be primaried. You will lose. I'm not going to guarantee it because I only guarantee 2 things: taxes and death. And neither one am I favorable for right now. But I'm telling you, the people are tired of this shenanigan. That's not even worthy of what's going on. Anyway, back to Lauderdale's article. I got a little sidetracked there. He makes a great point toward the end. He says directly to Perry, this is David Lauderdale speaking really to Alan Perry, who also great guy, and the rest of town council. He says, stay out of the snake pit where Beaufort County Council lives, grow a backbone, and use common sense and common decency, and the public may not lose trust in you that it has with county council. So who is driving this machine? Hilton Head Town Council is. To those council members, Lauderdale and I agree on one simple sentiment of this whole thing. You are driving the car. This is Hilton Head Town Council. You are driving the car, but the road is narrow. One false move and you'll go into the ditch.
Everything that rocks is right here. Right here.
That's rock.
With Patriot Radio.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know, not everything we talk about on House of Cards is always bad, so to speak. I know sometimes it's like, oh man, all you talk about is the people either stole money, stole this, cheated, fired, blah, 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 corruption, yada, yada, yada. Not always. We talk about some good stuff too. The bad things are what they are. We have first when I wrote this, I said, we have a good story. No, it's not a good story. It's a great story. This holiday season, we want to share with you, and a surprise guest. He's coming on here in just a second. There is a family on Ladies Island. Many of you have seen this in articles over the years. I've had this guest on before. There is a family on Ladies Island that has been doing their part to spread just a little bit of extra Christmas cheer for, I didn't realize this, 19 years now, going on 20 years at their home. Through some of the absolute best holiday lights display around. I'd like for you to please join me in welcoming David Cadd, who also happens to be our county auditor to the show. Welcome on, sir. How are you? I can't hear you. You're muted.
Hear me now?
I can hear you now, sir. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas. How you doing?
I am doing fine. I am doing fine. It's good to see you. How was Christmas there at the CAD residence?
Well, we had a lot of visitors, but it was great. We all had a great Christmas. We're still standing, we're breathing, so it was a great time.
Santa Claus come and see you and the wife and the kids and everything?
Oh yeah, Santa Claus was great. The boys are home from college, so we had big old grins on our face the whole time.
I hear you, man. You're looking good, Dave. I haven't seen you in a while. We talk a lot, but you look like you've lost a lot of weight. You look great, man. The auditor's
I'm down
job
about 26 pounds from working.
the auditor's job must be fitting you well, man.
It is. I'm really enjoying it. We've been doing a lot of new things there. We've been started a new website. We've been doing a lot of great things for the public, so they don't have to come in unless they want to. Got a great new staff all lined up. And most of all, I think the best part of it, since we're talking about being fiscally responsible, I think I'll be giving back about a little over $100,000 back to the taxpayers this year because I just don't think we need it.
Look at you. Look at you. We'll talk more about that either today or some other. I want to really talk about what a great job you and Amanda and your family, your whole family. I mean, you sort of fell into this, right? I mean, it's like 20 years ago. From what I understand, you all were just kind of like saying, you know what, maybe we need to put up some lights.
Yeah, we lived on base, and I was stationed here when I was still active duty. Lived on base, and my wife and I, as kids, used to always enjoy driving around, going around, and seeing the lights. We're like, hey, that was a holiday tradition for us. So we were looking around. We're like, well, we don't see any big displays. A few lights here and there, and that's not bad. So once we moved out in town, we're like, okay, well, I think we got something what we want to do, a way to give back to the public, show them how much we appreciate them and how much we love Beaufort County. So we started the Christmas light display, adding a little bit more and more every year.
So if I was going to ask, every year, do you add lights and displays? And of course, you got to repair the ones you had before. And how many lights do you think, you have now?
Oh, wow. I'd say we're in the tens of thousands for lights. And yeah, it takes us about 8 weeks to get it all set up. There's no Halloween for us. We start the first week of October getting it all set up because we want to turn it on the weekend after Thanksgiving. So we work till dark, my wife and I, because the kids are still in school. So we'll work till dark every night, trying to get this after work and everything, get everything set up and ready to go by the big weekend.
Wow. I can't imagine trying to cut grass and do everything we do in the fall, which is just an extension of summer sometimes, 8 weeks out. When I think about, what you all have done and what the display that's out there, in my brain, I immediately turn to the movie, and I can't even remember the name of it, but it's with the Griswolds.
Right. Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, Christmas Vacation. There you go. Where, when he finally gets the lights on, the shuts down the power grid wherever they live. Are you getting kind of Griswold-esque there at the CAD residence?
No, the state and the county's giving me plenty of power. Plus, I got a lot of solar panels to help back me up. So yeah, we got plenty of power. We never had the issue of blowing up circuits or anything like that, but we do find it a hard place to plug things in because we're running out of outlets. But But it is what it is. If that's what happens, I know my wife will just tell me to call Dominion and get another set of plugs out here and keep going. So it's all good. It doesn't bother us.
Now, in driving around on our own, my wife and I, over the years and years, it seems like the more further in time we go, a lot of folks are doing these digital displays. Mm-hmm. Have you added that kind of twist to what you all put on out there?
Not to the aspect of some of them do. A lot of our stuff is all homemade. We do homemade wood projects. I cut them out. My wife will paint them and stuff, and that's what we use. A lot of stuff. Our lights are ran by computers. A lot of the other stuff's ran all by computers, but and the lights dance to the music, which is all set up through the computer and all the programming and stuff. But not to the aspect some of them do where they make the shows, because it's just, I have to split my yard in half. So it's a little bit too hard to do it that way. Yeah. But it's all electronics, all run by computers and all backed up.
So you do have music and all of that. Is that on like a loop, or how do you do that?
Yeah, it's a programming system I got. It's all on a loop. It runs through the I think we got like 10 or 15 songs, and then it loops around again. But yeah, it all goes off the beat of the music, and we got DJ lights out there that shine on the ground for people to see and stuff. So the kids like playing on, like they're stepping on the dots and stuff. So it's a pretty good time.
Now, you said you start about 8 weeks ago. Is it long? When do you start? I know tomorrow night is your last show, from what I read. I would think that taking it down is almost longer because, things break and you got to put it away because you can't unpack it. Now, being a Marine, I know you've got everything has a place, and there's a place for everything. I don't question that. How long does it take to get it all packed up and put away?
Well, we have bins, and yes, and every bin goes a certain thing. And with the boys' home and stuff, we'll get it all put away in about 4 days.
Really?
Yeah, we'll start this weekend, and if it doesn't rain and the weather helps us out, we'll get it all put away in about 4 days. And the military teaches you how to pack, so we'll get it all packed in that shed I got, and we'll get it all put away.
Awesome. How often do you have to replace lights and bulbs and that kind of thing?
Well, part of the 8 weeks of setting up is testing everything, and that's when my wife and I will spend a lot of nights in the garage just plugging stuff in, putting it back together, making sure everything works right and stuff. So that's a lot of the length of the setup before you even put it out in the yard.
And am I correct in saying that tomorrow night is at least scheduled to be the last show?
Right. Yeah. Tomorrow's scheduled the last show. We were hoping to turn it on tonight, but if it rains, water, electricity just doesn't work well together. And tomorrow night, if it doesn't rain anymore, should be our last night.
Now, David, I know, you're a forward thinking kind of guy, and I know you're already looking to 2025. What do you have going on up there thinking about the show for next year?
We have a few things we already talked about resetting up, redoing. I made a Ferris wheel this year, and then in the first couple of weeks I burnt out the motor, so I'm gonna have to get a stronger motor for that. So I like to get things that are animated, that moves, because I think that grabs the young kids' attention a lot. So, and this year I had the big Yeti I put out in the yard and stuff that growls at the kids, and they really enjoyed that, except for some of the younger ones. They weren't too sure about that, but
yeah.
We just, whatever, we always start looking. I mean, in January, February, we're already out there looking on the websites, what's new, what's coming for 2025 to see what we can get our hands on. And usually about July or August, my wife starts getting the credit card bill, starts yelling at me and asks me what I'm doing, but that's all the new stuff coming in. So
I understand that. I do. And speaking of that, you're not doing this to, as an income producer. This is strictly to give back. And from some people that I've talked to, David, and I've known you for a while, you have even said, "Hey, I don't want your money. That's not why this is about. This is for you, Mr. and Mrs. Community neighbor."
It is. I've had people throw money in our mailbox and we take it back to them and stuff. We don't want no money. We just want people to come out and enjoy it. Like you said, that was something, our childhood thing to do. So that's what we wanted. Some way to give back to the community. Yes, I'm a public servant, but there's got to be a good side too. So, trying to get this Christmas light display and doing it for the community and the whole county. I really enjoy people coming by, and we get people from everywhere: Ohio, New Jersey, all different places, all over the country coming in. They come in like, "Oh, this is a family tradition. We've been here for the last 6 years. We're coming every night and stuff." So we really enjoy hearing that. We really do. And then we always get the questions: how long does it take? How much extra money does it take for power? And it's funny we say that. I just got my power bill tonight. And then, just things like that. The comment: how many extension cords you got? Well, I own stock in extension cords. If you ever seen the rack extension cords I got. So it's just a lot of questions like that. And it's not about what we got to do. We don't mind it. And why the lights are on. We don't get to go out to dinner. We have to stay home, obviously, because we have people in the yard. So we never get to go out to dinner. We always stay in. But that's the sacrifice we're willing to give to the county, because we really enjoy living here and we love this place.
Does the electric bill, do you see that really? You see a difference for 3 months or 4 months or whatever?
Yeah, for the full month this year, we'll see it's on average about extra $300. It's about just for the 30 days, even with all LEDs, it's about $300 just the power pole. But it's a sacrifice I'm willing to do. I don't care. I'll do it, if that's what we do and that's what we love to do. So I don't mind about it, spending the money.
I think that's a very honorable. And would you share the address? I'm going to say tomorrow night's going to be great weather, no more rain, even though there's rain in the forecast. Maybe we could flood that area with people to come see the last show of the year. Where can they come see this?
It's 66 Springfield Road on Ladies Island, like you said. If you come down Sam's Point Road after the traffic circle, it's probably about another 2 miles down. It'll be on your left-hand side. And once you turn on to Springfield, that's on your left-hand side. We'll be on the right. You can't miss it because it glows. I mean, I'm pretty sure Mars can see us from where we're at. But yeah, it glows pretty wild, so you know right where to stop.
Awesome. 66 Springfield on Ladies Island.
Yes, sir.
All right, and that is awesome. So while I have you, how has the auditor's office been over the last year? And at the beginning, you said you've got a new website. You're making it easier for the citizen, right?
Right. Yeah, we got it all automated. That was my whole goal of getting in office, getting everything automated for everybody. And that's what we did, making it easier. You don't have to come in the office. You never know when the next pandemic's coming. So we're just like, hey, this is awesome. Just get online, email us, which is the easiest way to reach us. We'll respond. As working at the county, the phones always get jammed up at this time of year. It's hard to get through. So that's why we opened everything up to email or going on our website and got a chat bot that'll answer all the questions you may have. So that's what we did. I did all that, got it all done. This is going on my second year. I got it where I want it. And like I said, I look forward to giving the taxpayers some money back.
Before we keep going with that, we have a listener. Actually, I have it on the screen. Virgil. Hey, Virgil. It says, hey, greetings from Manchester, England. That's right. We are worldwide. How much was your power bill, David? Got mine today, 39 quid for the month. I don't know how much a quid is, but I believe you said yours went up by $350 US. That fair?
Yes, it went up about $350. So we're topping off with solar panels. We're probably topping off about $400.
Fantastic. Virgil, thank you for tuning in over there in merry old England. Good to see you, and tell some of your friends to go. Now back to the auditor's office. How do I want to word this? Do you see, and this is nothing disparaging against the former auditor, but people in this county, just like with county council, as I said, while you were getting ready to come on, I mean, they have lost some trust. They've lost actually a lot of trust in county council. There was a problem. There was a loss of whatever you want to term it between the taxpayer and the auditor's office, as they've seen in other offices. To be totally honest and transparent about it, and full disclosure, I don't hear, and I hear from a lot of people, but I don't hear the term auditor's office or that SOB audit. You know what I'm saying? I don't hear that kind of stuff going on. I mean, I do about a lot, but I don't about the auditor's office. Do you feel like the temperature is changed from the community to the people in there working to, feedback? I know you're in and out in the community's face. You're with the people who actually make that wheel turn. Do you feel a difference in everybody's attitude, I guess?
I see the shields have gone down because, when I first went in the office, they're like,
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, all of the same old stuff, maybe because he worked with the prior auditor, but it hasn't. I've worked very hard to get these shields down. I've worked very hard to build those bridges back to where we were. I spend countless hours across the hallway talking to county administrator, all the ACAs. What do you need? Where are we at? How can I help? Trying to get, like I said, open them doors, spend a lot of time in the assessor's office, have monthly meetings with the treasurer. We do what we can. I mean, I'm an open book. I'm trying to make it easy. Like I said, give that office back to the people so they don't have to worry about anything. It's all, it's all for them. This is for them. The county office is there to serve.
So for those folks that are watching that may not be completely, they don't understand because every state does it different. Every county in this state, some do it different. correct me if I'm wrong, but the assessor's office is the one who, let's say, sets the tax amount. Your office, the auditor's amount, sends the bills out, and the treasurer, Maria Walls's office, is a tax collector. Is that pretty much how this works in Beaufort County?
Right. Yeah. Since we send the bills out, we usually get, the blame a lot of times for, between the 4% and 6% and stuff. But the assessor is all your real property. She assesses it. I assess all the personal property. All the bills, in order for them to go out to the taxpayers, have to go through our hands. We set all the bills up. If there's something on the bill that they don't like, obviously they come back to us. But a lot of times when it's with real property, it's the assessor. And things of that nature. If there's a problem with your personal property, obviously that's our office and we'll take care of it. But it's everything goes through the auditor's office. Well, I'm like the middleman. Everything has to go through my office. We do over 300,000 tax bills a year. Nobody's perfect. If there's a mistake, let us know. We're always open to that. But everything goes through our office, and then of course it gets mailed out from there. So we get blamed for a lot, but it's not necessarily us.
Right. So, obviously houses, mobile homes, I think that's pretty clear, and cars, because, you've got through the DMV, those kind of things, and boats for a bit. How does the county, if somebody goes and buys a plane or a boat, and maybe they buy, I buy it from the guy next door, it's a cash deal. Maybe I've got an airplane, or own a what is it, a fractional ownership or something like that. How, for those folks who may be trying to skirt the law and skirt what they need to pay, how does the county or who in the county, how do you find out that?
Well, we get all our information from outside agencies. The DMV reports to us about all the vehicles. DOR reports to us about all the businesses and everything like that. And tells us what to bill out. Just like with the assessor, a lot of times it's the neighbors too. The neighbors have to come in. Hey, so-and-so's renting their property. Did you know they were renting their property? No, we can look into it. We can send somebody out to look into that, what's going on. And it's a lot, just like you see all the out of town tags. You got to sit there and wonder. I mean, I drive to work every day and see probably half the tags are from Georgia. And you're like, okay, I know you guys are living in South Carolina. What are you doing with these Georgia tags? But I mean, it's just one of them things. You see something, say something. You got a question, ask us. That's the best, the best advice I can give you. But we usually get it from outside agencies, most of our information.
And how does it work with the military? I guess you could say there's really 4 military installations: Laurel Bay, PI, the hospital, and air station. How, those folks that work at those installations speaking of vehicles, can have a vehicle with their home state tag, right?
Correct.
How do I know that's got to be from the auditor, assessor, tax collector point of view. That is a different kind of mathematics you got to deal with, that say people, the same folks in, I don't know, Hampton County don't have to deal with that. What is there a big learning curve in dealing with military families and in a county that's got, we've got a bunch.
Yeah, we always got the extra abilities that we have to offer them. Like, we got a computer in our office where they can print out their leave and earning statements, so they can, get their tax deduction, or, depending on what it is. If you're active duty, you're exempt from taxes unless South Carolina is your home state. Then you're no longer exempt. You actually have to pay here just like your normal resident. But we offer we got the computer for them, so they print out their leave and earning statements. They come in and see us. And it's usually the military ones we see are the ones where their tags are about ready to expire from their home state, and they can't get back home to get them re-registered to do that. So they come in and say, well, I'll just do South Carolina tags. And they do. And then, they're exempt anyways. It's really easy. But, there's other states that make them get their state plates, but they're still exempt, but they make them put their state plates on there because they're going to be there for such a long time.
One thing that I think is fair to say, and I used to tell people when I was on council, you can run and you can hide, but cheating the system does not pay off. It just doesn't.
No, it doesn't. And if you think about it, by cheating the system, every year you hear, oh, the millage is going up. Well, yeah, the millage is going up because people aren't paying their fair share.
Yeah.
That's why the millage is going up. People aren't doing what they're, that they should be doing, or they're allowing their neighbor to have Georgia tags on their car, things like that.
Anything else on the auditor's office you want to pass along, my friend?
I just want to say thank you for the last 2 years. I've had a great time. And then 19 years of the Christmas display. Love Beaufort. My family loves Beaufort. Really appreciate being a public servant for you and actually giving back to the community the way we do with the Christmas. And thanks for having me on your show, Mike.
Man, as always, you are you and your wife and family are a friend of the show and of mine. I want to thank you. Thank you, Amanda. I'm sure you're around there somewhere for putting up with this old fella and keeping those lights going and for standing behind you or beside you, really, as auditor. I appreciate what you guys are doing. Spreading Christmas cheer is just that's just the apple. That's the cherry on top. So David Cadd, County Auditor and Christmas cheer spreader extravaganza. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. And thank you for your service to Beaufort County and the nation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks.
All right.
Turn up the radio. Bringing you the best selection of hits for your listening pleasure.
Yeah, so let's get into it.
BigPatriotRadio.com.
All right. It is straight up 8 o'clock here on Beaufort County's House of Cards. Last story to share with you. The last story of 2024. Glad to hear that Virgil watching from Manchester, England. That's home of two fantastic soccer or football clubs, as they call it. What is that? Man City and Man United. Anyway, sad story out of Hilton Head Island to share with you this holiday season. Last Friday, Hilton Head Island resident Maria Fernandez and her son were driving from a low country bank in the evening. And when she stopped, this was Friday evening, she stopped due to something being in the road. Now, once she stopped, put the car into park, the doors automatically unlocked, and at the same time, and this was obviously staged, two individuals approached and opened her door. They, according to her son, put something like a knife or something to her stomach. And again, this is according to her son and Beaufort County Sheriff deputies. Her son, Francisco, said the assailants pulled her from the car and put her on her stomach on the ground. One suspect rummaged through her purse while the other hit and attacked the female. The suspects were able to get several $100s in cash and gift cards, but that wasn't the end of their terror. Maria's son, again, Francisco, said that he told police that his mother felt something very hot on her arms, her chest, her legs, and her skin. His mother began to scream in terror and said felt like she was burning alive. She was so hot, she was burning alive. Deputies say the suspects threw some kind of chemical or acid on Maria Fernandez's, burning her face, her chest, her arms, and her legs. It possibly could have been worse had she not used her forearm, something like that, in an attempt to block the liquid. Instead of spending Christmas with her children, her grandchildren, and parents who news reports, WSAV TV3 out of Savannah says she hadn't seen him in over 20 years. Instead of that, she's been in 3 hospitals and remains there awaiting surgery on her burns. Maria was taken first to Hilton Head Memorial, then transferred to Memorial in Savannah, and eventually flown out to MUSC's Burn Center in Charleston. Maria has no insurance for her children, 2 of which are still in school. All 4 live with her, but 2 are still in school. A gentleman by the name of Roger Gray has started a GoFundMe to help raise some funds for Maria. And as of this morning, when I last checked, $13,000 has been raised. Amazing how the community comes together. To donate, you can go to what you see here on your screen, GoFundMe.com, and just type in, where it says like search, type in what's in quotation marks, woman robbed, comma, burned by 2 suspects, and it should pop right up. You'll see a picture. It'll be kind of hard to make out, but you can tell it's a person in a hospital gown in a hospital bed. It'll pop back. If that's something you want to do, feel free to do that. Sheriff's Department is asking for anyone having information about this crime to call the new tips line at 1-844-TIPS-BFT. That's TIPS-BFT. Otherwise, that's 844-847-7238. That's 844-847-7238. Now, a couple of comments about this. Nowhere have I been able to find that the Beaufort County Sheriff's Department has given a release of what these suspects look like. Old, young, black, white, brown, purple, green, short, tall, fat, skinny, bald, hairy, beard, no beard, English accent, American accent, Southern accent, or whatever. Nothing. I find that extremely hard to believe. I find it even harder to believe in this day and age with what we have available at our fingertips. Hey, Robin Cleveland, thanks for coming on. If you have a question, please let me, or a comment, please redo it. All I see is your name. But in this day and age, I don't buy the sentiment that we don't know what this chemical or acid was. We don't know what it was. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. And I think if they would release what it is it hydrochloric acid? Is it sulfuric acid? It's not scalding water. I've seen the burns. It doesn't look like scalding water burn. This looks like a chemical of some type. There are ways that can be traced and tracked backwards. Any information that they can give out, was it 2 males? I said males. I don't know if the article actually said that or not, but it certainly sounds like it. That kind of stuff we need to know. And we can help. The public can help. Again, 1-844-847-7238. If you want to donate to them, GoFundMe.com and put in woman robbed, burned by 2 suspects into, the little search bar. And let's see if we can't help this family out this time of year. And even more so, let's find these scumbags and get them behind bars.
Everything that rocks is right here. Right here.
Let's rock.
With Big Patriot Radio.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for tonight. This edition of Beaufort County's House of Cards. Going to do it. Thank you to David Cadd and family for not only coming on tonight, but also sharing their Christmas time light show with us. Get out there tomorrow, 66 Springfield Road, Ladies Island. Flood the area. Go out there and see the lights that these folks are doing. They don't want anything for it. It's just to give back to the community. Please don't forget, if you can help support this channel, please do so now by you can go to Venmo at mcovert1581. You can also go to patreon.com/Beaufort House of Cards and help us out there. You can also, if you're on Facebook, it's not too late. Let's go ahead. Let's send some stars. We're trying to get 500 this week, 500 stars. And I think someone told me that like a star is like $1. I think maybe not even that. I don't really know. It's when I heard this, I was like, gosh, you would have to have a bazillion to you know what I'm saying? It's not about that. Anyway, it's easy. It's not expensive. It's fun. We look forward to seeing everybody next week. So get ready for that as we have our first show of 2025. That'll be fun up next Thursday. And as always, something is always turning up. You never know what we're going to talk about. Thank you again to the folks at F1 Mechanical. Give them a call to check out your heat before it gets older than it already is. And it's too late. And those stars trying to reach 500. Until then, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and watch your six.